Has the sports card hobby been successful by accident? And is it true that Fanatics will do more to innovate the industry in the next 12 months than has been done in the last 7 years? Fanatics CEO thinks so. Do we agree? We'll tell you next on Cards on the Table. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table, our fast-paced talk show where we cover important topics around the world of sports cards. And we got some juicy ones today. Joining me for today's conversation, as always, Teapot. Welcome back to the show, sir.
We did it, Joe. We did it. The Chiefs won. What's that a reference to?
I don't know what that's a reference to.
Maybe some of the comments will get it.
But congratulations to your Chiefs, Teapot. I'm very happy for you, and moderately happy for you. You happy for him, Doug?
No.
No. I got you something, Doug.
What?
Look at this. I got you something. This is a little peace offering here.
Oh,
Look
that's
at that.
awesome. Thank you.
It's a Rajon Rondo rookie card. He's in his Kentucky outfit.
And 4 is my number as well. I have a lot of number 4 Kentucky gear, so this is a great card for me. Thank you so much.
Found that at the Burbank Card Show for you.
Really?
Thought
Thank
you
you.
would appreciate
What
that.
else is under there? Anything?
So there you go. No, got you nothing. Your
Very
Chiefs
nice
got
of
a
you.
victory,
Thank
and
you.
that's enough. All right, guys. So it was actually just recently that Fanatics CEO Michael Rubin went on the Full Send podcast and had some surprising words to say about the sports card hobby. Let's take a listen.
This business has never been marketed. There's never been any marketing in this business, okay? There's never been any more product innovation. I'm telling you right now, to every collector out there, the 12-month cycle we're in right now, we will do more for this industry that's been done in the last 7 years. And by the way, I'm not arrogant. I'm pretty humble. We will do more this year than what's been done in the last 7 years. We are going to aggressively market this industry. I am so bullish on it because this business is done great by accident. And by the way, if you plan a business to be lucky, you're dead long-term.
All right, Doug, I'm going to turn to you first. So do you believe that Fanatics is going to be able to do more in the next 12 months to innovate the industry than has been done in the last 7 years? And do you believe that the sports card industry has been successful by accident? What are your thoughts on these comments?
Yes to both. I don't think it would take a lot to be more innovative than in 12 months than we have seen in the last 7 years, because I'm not sure how much innovation has really been put in place. I don't know what it means when he says that, but I do believe that that's probably something they could execute on. Has the sports card market been successful by accident? To the extent of its success over the past few years, yes. I think it was just a perfect storm that led to the success we had starting 2018, 2019, and going forward, without any sort of effort by the main companies involved in the hobby to get us there. So when I think of what Fanatics will do, I don't know if this is necessarily innovation, but I think the very first priority has to be marketing. We have almost zero marketing from the main companies, from Panini, from Topps, no marketing whatsoever for the most part. So I think that's going to be the number one thing that needs to occur. And then I think 1B is going to need to be, what do the collectors want?
Yeah.
Talk to the collectors, find out what we want. We want better quality. We want lower print runs, or at least more transparent print runs. There's all kinds of things that we could get into. And we've talked a little bit about what we'd like to see from Fanatics in the past, but there's a laundry list of things. But listen to the collectors. Find out what we want.
Yeah, and Michael Rubin specifically made the comment about marketing and how there hasn't been marketing done. He's absolutely right. And that's one of the things I've said since the beginning, right when it was announced that Fanatics was getting involved in this. I said, if they bring some marketing muscle and some marketing dollars into the hobby, watch out, because it's never been seen before, right? What are your takes on his comments, Steve?
I had a little bit of an epiphany, and that is that the sports card industry has reminded me of the Madden franchise. Year over year, you just get a new roster and the same game with slightly better graphics and the same glitchy plays and the same things over, and all the fans still go out and buy it and they make a bunch of money, but it's the same thing year over year. I want more innovation, but the part that did stand out to me was the marketing comments, and that's what I said from day one, just like you. They put marketing into it. That's how you generate demand. People don't have a desire for something they don't know exists or that they don't know is popular. Once they're exposed to it, once there's FOMO, demand goes up, your profitability goes up. Marketing is everything. We know that a lot of companies that make a widget, cost them $5, sell it for $50, $40 of it is marketing expense that they're putting into $1 million Super Bowl ads and other things like that, right? Like, why does a Supreme hoodie cost 5 times, what a normal hoodie costs? Marketing. It's literally all it is. It's not better materials, maybe slightly, It's the brand image, it's the marketing piece of it. Now, do I think this happened by accident? I think that Panini Topps, haven't done enough to like really ratchet it up to the next level. I think there's a lot of effort that goes into it. I don't want to disparage the things that they have done. I'm sure it's a ton of work. They had to scale quickly. They had to come over a lot of things. But I don't think it's completely happened by accident. Now, in terms of what I want to see, it's the things I've said in the past: pack odds or print runs, a thoughtful, clear brand identity, on-card autos, game-worn memorabilia. Get rid of redemptions or do something better with it, and then obviously just the overall QC of the cards is a big one.
Yeah, you and I did a whole video, I think it was early last year, right after the Fanatics and Topps news was announced. That was our demands of Fanatics, and we went through a list of, I think, 12 things that we said we absolutely wanted to see Fanatics bring to the table, and if they could accomplish those things, they would really revolutionize the hobby and make it much better for all collectors. I think they're working on some of the things. I know people in Fanatics leadership. I think they've got the right mindset. I think they're taking things in the right direction. I take a little bit of exception to Michael Rubin's comments that the hobby has gotten here by accident, because there have been a lot of smart people involved with the hobby, and there has been good innovation around certain products. I mean, there are products right now that collectors love. Collectors love Prism, and collectors love Flawless, and collectors love Topps Chrome and Bowman, and could all the products be better? Absolutely. Are there quality control issues that need to be fixed? 100%. Could the checklists make more sense and be more standardized? Yes. Could products have a more distinct point of view from one another? So every product has kind of a unique place in the market? 100%. These are all things that can be improved, but there has been a lot of good things that have gone on, but I do agree that a company like Fanatics will be able to take this to the next level. I'm very excited to see what the next 12 months will bring. Hopefully we see a lot of that innovation that Michael Rubin is talking about. Okay, guys, we're gonna get to our next topic. First though, Pristine Auction they're actually having a very special Super Bowl auction, which ends tonight, in addition to their regular weekly auctions, which end this weekend. In their Super Bowl auction, Teapot, I don't know if you saw this. They have a Barry Sanders signed Funko Pop.
Oh man,
it looks so cool. I actually just bid on it. I actually went on Pristine Auction's website and bid on it. You got your eye on anything in their auctions?
Yeah, I'm looking specifically at Topps Gallery PSA 10 Pujols rookie. It's about Pop 500. It's not the super rare card, but I'm a big Pujols guy, and it's a really beautiful card. Kind of the artistic rendering of Pujols' portrait. Really nice one.
What do you want, Doug?
I actually was browsing and saw the Barry Sanders in that Lions blue ink.
Nice blue ink.
It looks
pen.
awesome.
Yeah.
But as I was browsing, I started coming across a lot of Deion Sanders stuff, and it got me to thinking. I saw a lot of 89 Topps traded Deion, but one stood out. There's a 1990 Topps super rookie Deion Sanders. It's an on-card auto, card grade 10 auto grade, or card grade 9 auto grade 10. I'm thinking, Coach Prime is going to have all these. He's got all these cameras on him. He's about to take this next step into stardom post playing career, and I think, I don't know, maybe there's a play involved there. If not, I get to own some Prime.
That's actually pretty savvy. And guys, if you want to check any of these items out, go to pristineauction.com. Use promo code SCI when you register to get $10 free towards your first purchase. $10 off your first purchase. All right, guys, let's go into our data dive segment. Teapot, you did a video on the Market Movers YouTube channel this past week where you maybe threw a little shade at the card prices of Luca Doncic. You made some arguments that maybe his cards were overpriced. This is the golden boy of the basketball card hobby. Many collectors out there have a lot of Luca cards. They love collecting Luca. What did you find? And then Doug and I are going to tell you if you're right or wrong.
It's amazing. I could walk up to somebody and just say, hey, what do you think of Luca's prices? And they go, why are you bashing him? That's literally what happened last week. I presented the data. I said, look, what we know is there can only be 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most players from every generation, from every era, whatever an era is defined as, whose prices hold up. If we go back in time, you're talking about Russell, Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Bird, MJ, Kobe, Steph, LeBron. Those are the guys. Everybody else in those eras is so much cheaper, and we talked about this in the past. So what I did was I took Luca's cards and I compared them to other modern MVP candidates. Take, for example, this displays our price movements. You can see the prices for all the Prism Silver PSA 10s of different MVP candidate type players this year. Jokic is technically higher in price by $400 than Luca, but the market cap, the total theoretical money in circulation is 15 times higher on Luca's. You're talking about
because the cards were so rare.
Yeah, Pop 136 versus Pop 2162, and you just go down. Tatum half the price of Luca.
And these are all the Prism Silvers.
So if I'm looking at upside versus downside, if Luca doesn't end up being one of the two guys from this era, what I said is his prices will come down. So that's up to each person to decide. Right now, the market has voted and said, we feel very confident with our money that Luca is the guy. Now,
where's John Morant compared to Luca?
John Morant is actually down even lower than Zion right now at $861 in spite of all of Zion's injury struggles still. You've got Embiid down.
Whereas Luca's a little over 2,000, it looks like.
Embiid's at 777 on a Pop 78 PSA 10. Now, the other comparison, right, is other players and the similar price point. So for $2,000, you can get a Steph BGS 9.5 Topps flagship. You can get a Giannis PSA 10 red, white, and blue mosaic. You can get a KD refractor in a 9. You can get a LeBron chrome in a 9. And just as an interesting frame of reference, I compared statistically, not their games, but statistically, Russell Westbrook to Luca.
Oh my God.
Right? Their stats are very similar. Their game is different. You got a number to 288 Pop 37 PSA 10 Russ for 1.27K.
I can already feel the hate comments coming in.
I love Luca.
He literally just threw a comparison between
Luca.
Russell Westbrook and Luca. Doug, we only have a little bit of time. Real quick, you think he's on to something here? Is Luca overpriced, or do you think he's nuts?
He's overpriced. Yeah, Luca's overpriced right now. We've got all this stuff baked into Luca prices right now, accomplishments that he hasn't accomplished yet. We've already started counting up the MVPs, counting trophies that he doesn't have yet, and those need to happen to sustain that. Out of that list, you pull up, I'm looking at a guy like Tatum. He plays a desire. I love Jokic. I love Jokic. Best player in the NBA right now, probably, but he's a big guy. He's not going to get the love. Tatum plays for an amazing team that can win titles. He's an amazing player that plays a more desirable position and more desirable type of basketball than Jokic. So I'm looking at Tatum out of that list probably over Luca, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. Luca looks like such an exceptional player, even compared to a lot of these guys you put on the screen. Like, he looks the part, but I am concerned about his ability to win a championship. I don't think it's going to happen with Kyrie. I just don't. And before Kyrie, I don't think that was going to happen either. I don't see the pathway where someone like Tatum has a much clearer pathway. Or a guy like Giannis, for example, has already done it, right? Yeah. Ring, MVP awards, all those things that Luca has yet to have. So
my dream scenario, Luca and Giannis on the same team, bringing my boy Drummond on the bench to fill in and bang some bodies. Let's get a title.
Luca and Giannis on the same team, that would have been a lot better fit than Luca and Kyrie. Yeah. But anyway, we shall see. All right, guys, we got more to discuss right after this break. Guys, go get that Market Movers app on your phone right now. Go to the App Store and search for Market Movers, and it has a 7-day free trial right inside the app. Take advantage of that. All right, Teapot, we're going to go to this topic suggested by one of our viewers. Is sealed wax still a good investment due to potential overprinting? Now, I have been on this Sports Card Investor channel many times in the past advocating investing in sealed wax, but all of the sealed wax that I've invested in was all 2019 and prior, and much of it was 2017 and prior, in part because the print runs in 18 and 19 started to get up there, and I started to get worried. And I haven't bought much since then, the last couple of years. So I share some of the same concerns this viewer does. Do I have a right to be concerned, or would you say that's nonsense? Sealed wax can still be a great investment.
Yeah, we know it's all about the rookie class, right? And as supply dries up, there's a demand to rip the wax, to have breaks and other things. So a recent product that I think is a good long-term bet personally is 2022 Topps Update Baseball. Okay. It's a really loaded product. There's some great rookies. You have J-Rod, as long as he plays well, I think that's a great one. Even in spite of high print runs, there were pretty good pack odds on things to hit. Now, if we go and look at it, I've got some interesting data here. 3 specific wax boxes, okay? We've got 2020 Hobby Prism Football, and you can see going back to August, that product has gone up in a time when everything's gone down. We know why, the loaded quarterback class, right? So that proved to be a good one. A couple other products that are notable, 2018 Topps Update with Ohtani, Acuna, Soto, I'm having
Gleyber
a brain.
Torres is in there, I
No, I'm
think.
forgetting the other. Why am I drawing a blank on the other key rookie? We'll see him in a second. brain dead. 2018 Hobby Prism basketball, same thing. These products are down in that time frame. But if we jump over to the chart and look at the players in there, I said Acuna, right? Who was the other guy?
Yeah, you said Soto, Ohtani, Acuna.
Okay,
right?
maybe I was making it
got
up.
the guys.
So we got
Vlad? Vlad Guerrero?
Vlad's 2019.
No, he wasn't that
Peanut
year.
Gap 2019.
He wasn't that year.
So anyway, we've got those prices of these individual players all down more than the respective wax product. And we see the same thing when those players are rising and the market's rising, that the wax prices go up more, right?
Yep.
So overall, I would say yes, wax is still a good investment.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I stopped buying wax as an investment for the most part, stopped after 2019, and I have a bunch of 2019 hobby boxes of football, Kyler Murray rookie year.
And Will Greer.
And Will Greer rookie year. I did not buy 2020 hobby boxes of football. How dumb is that? How dumb is that, Doug?
I understand why, because at that point we were all worried about overprinting. We saw like a product like Select go retail and all the massive amounts of parallels, and we're just like, oh, the end is near, right? I can see that thought process, but in hindsight, which is always 2020, of course, that class is loaded now. That's really desirable stuff to have. And I think did you not get some 2020 recently? Some 2020 football?
I just did this a couple weeks ago. I finally caved in and bought a box of 2020 case of it. Yeah.
So ultra modern stuff. Probably not the world's best thing to hold on to as far as sealed wax, but I'm just like you. I've always been a proponent of holding on to sealed wax. The older, the better. And I'm stealing your talking point here, but the population of sealed wax is only going to go down.
Yes.
The population of singles and graded cards is only going to go up. Especially in the breaker culture that we're in right now. There's so many, different breakers, and that's only going to grow probably in the future. So more and more product is getting ripped. That supply is going down. Having your hands on some of that sealed product is probably a pretty good thing. Pay attention to the formats. I think one of the questions we were asked was hobby or retail. Probably want to stick to hobby. There are some exceptions with retail, things like specific parallels, like maybe Genesis from Mosaic, or if there's a specific rookie chase color match, like say Red Ice Kyler Murray out of a hanger, for instance. There's things like that to look at, but stick with hobby and stick with the lower print run stuff.
I would agree.
Pay attention to the rookie class.
I would agree. And if you're really investing in wax, I would go for some of the key boxes over time. 2003 Topps Chrome basketball. 1986 Fleer basketball, of course, is a big one. Boxes like that are Bowman Chrome football from 2000, Tom Brady. Boxes like that are always going to be sought after. Let's go to our second reader question from our mailbag. Doug, I'm going to start with you on this.
All right.
Why is there such a delta between PSA 10 and BGS 9.5? And what's really interesting, to add a little bit of historical context to this, first of all, there was a point in time when BGS 9.5 was more valuable than PSA 10. You go back 15 years ago, BGS 9.5s were more valuable than PSA 10s, at least with certain cards. When I started buying cards pretty heavily back in early 2019, PSA 10s were more valuable, but not by much. There's like a 20% gap between PSA 10 and BGS 9.5. It is massive, like multiples in some cases now. Doug, how do you make sense of this?
Well, I think the changing of the guard that's happened in the past few years probably has a lot to do with the number psychology, honestly. All of these newer people that have come into the hobby in the past few years probably just see 9.5 compared to 10. 10's a bigger number. That might, those two companies might mean the same thing with those numbers, but 10 is better than 9.5. It's a higher number. You're just going to naturally gravitate towards that. And for whatever reason, the hobby has decided PSA is like the company of choice right now. Maybe that changes down the road, but where we're at right now, PSA is the more valuable. So a PSA 10 is what you want. BGS 9.5, maybe you look at that as a crossover opportunity to PSA, but that's not necessarily something you're looking for as an equal value, because 9.5 just doesn't equal 10 in our brains.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Teapot?
I think it's like what Ruben said, marketing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of marketing, and PSA's had a lot of marketing, and they've done a lot to update and get up to date and stay. They even had to close and still were somehow able to maintain this lead. But I do think there's a lot to it, like Doug said, with the grade psychology. And I've done videos on that actually in the past, on the Data Dive videos, where if you think about it, half of the cards that would be PSA 10s end up 9.5s even with SGC or with CSG, and you can see it reflected in the pop counts. You can look at that, and it's nearly impossible to get the BGS 10 Pristine or the Black Label. Nat Turner said almost from day one when they made the acquisition of collectors that they will not be inserting a half grade on 9s. And it's a conundrum because if you're a buyer, you want the most accurate grade possible. You really do. But if you're a seller, you want a 10.
Yeah.
You want a 10 even if it's a 9. You want a 10 even if it's an 8. You get excited when you sneak one through and they don't catch the little speck on the back and it's like, it's a 10 now, it's worth 10 times as much as an 8. It's kind of silly. The whole grading premium sometimes to me makes me really scratch my head. But the premium above the other companies when, like you said, you could crack and cross is really mind-numbing. Now, when it comes to that question, should you crack it and submit it yourself or cross it over? I'd personally crack it every time.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want PSA having it in their head that this was a BGS
Correct.
9, so we should be hard on it.
I've done not a ton of attempts at this, but I have done crossover attempts where I've given PSA, the card and the BGS holder, and never once have they successfully crossed that over. And I know some people that have taken stacks of 40 cards to PSA and said, please cross all these over with a minimum grade. So basically 9 5s that these have to become 10s or don't crack them. 0 for 40.
They all come back.
They all come back. It's like, nope, there was an issue with all of it. Whereas I'm sure they had cracked all 40 and submitted them, that a handful of them at least, and maybe a majority of them would have come back as 10s, who knows. But then you're taking the risk of, do you want to give it up at 9 5? I have had a scenario before, we covered it on this show, where I cracked a 9 5, sent it off to PSA to try to get a 10, did not get a 10 from PSA, took it back to BGS, and this time around BGS gave it a 9.
Yeah.
So it can happen. You can really mess yourself up if you crack and try this game, but I still think it's the better way to go rather than just trying to submit for a crossover most of the time. All right, guys, we really appreciate your questions, and if you leave questions in the YouTube comments right now, we will try to answer those questions in next week's episode. So go do that right now. Make sure you give us a like, make sure you give us a subscribe, and we'll see you soon with our next one. Take care, everybody.